this was not a cyber attack, but
Surely that's already a red flag if it's a free...
Red flag, what are you doing? Yeah.
Hello, and welcome back to the Cybernews Weekly Podcast. This week, we'll be talking about the worldwide outages caused by a CrowdStrike update that affected Windows users and took various sectors offline. We will also be discussing our latest in-house research relating to a fake zLibrary platform that posed as an ebook piracy website and subsequently leaked the data of 10 million users, leaving people open to probes by law enforcement. Finally, we will discuss Musk again. This time, it's his Optimus robots and his grand plans to employ these bots in his factories by 2025. In the studio, joining me again are my colleagues, Ernestus.
Hi, everyone.
And Justinus.
oh,
Hello. So, CrowdStrike outage. Were you guys personally affected by it?
No.
No? Justinus?
yeah, I couldn't pay for my breakfast in the morning, and one of the bigger supermarkets here in the area, they wouldn't accept cards as well. So some other vendors did. So that was, the only thing that really got me. I was without coffee and without my, breakfast croissant.
I mean, unless you've been living under a rock or you're a Mac or Linux user, we're all aware of the recent outage that occurred and took systems offline last week. All areas of life were affected, further demonstrating our reliance on technology, and we were confronted with blocked self-service checkouts, crowds at airports, the shutdown of banks, and the breakdown of our cashless society for just a few moments. CrowdStrike, a global cybersecurity vendor, confirmed the outages were caused by a defective update and said it's actively working with impacted customers. So that's you, Justinus. Have you heard from CrowdStrike at all?
No, not really. I wasn't, I think I was affected.
8.5 million Microsoft Windows devices were affected. That's pretty large. People are calling it one of the largest outages in history. The defect was found in a single content update for Windows hosts. And as I said, Macs and Linux hosts were not impacted. George Kurtz, the CEO and president of CrowdStrike, explicitly said that this wasn't a security incident or a cyber attack. The issue has been identified and isolated, and a fix has been deployed, supposedly. We refer customers to the support portal for the latest updates, and will continue to provide complete and continuous updates on our website, he said on X. The company also recommended that you speak to official kind of support CrowdStrike representatives, because I think this is going to have a big impact on people in terms of phishing attacks, and people are going to capitalize on the outage. So all sectors were impacted, essentially. I was traveling at the time. I was coming to see Justinus in the UK, and Ryanair were bamboozled. They were absolutely shocked by what was going on. I don't think anybody knew the extent of what was happening, but yeah, they couldn't scan barcodes. Everybody was in some kind of kerfuffle. And also Travel for London, I noticed, weren't able to scan barcodes to allow people to go into the train station.
I'm not sure if it was in the UK, but I've definitely seen online some airports resorting to analog, time travel boards, like
boarding
departures and
passes.
arrivals. They would just scribble that on a board. So that was funny, just a window to the past times, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Back to the analog days. The US Federal Aviation Administration had to stop Delta, United, and American airline flights due to a communication issue. So that's really not very good. It impacted all sectors, like I said, banks, airports, in China, in the UK, other parts of Europe, America, Australia. So yeah, it was a big outage, and George Kurtz, the CEO, is under fire because people like Troy Hunt, a security consultant who runs the data breach search website Have I Been Pawned, called the incident the largest IT outage in history. and a letter addressed to George Kurtz, the CEO, from the US House of Representatives Homeland Security Committee, has given the CEO until Wednesday, July 24th, to schedule a hearing, essentially, to answer for himself in the outage. So yeah, it's incredibly widespread. What do you guys think about it?
Well, I did write about the opinion of cybersecurity professionals, and many of them kind of think that we can't rely on just a few big players for all our tech needs. And we don't, apparently, because only 1% of Microsoft machines were affected by this flawed update. Yeah. But, well, still, we probably need to spread things out more. And many kind of say that the situation will not get better because the sector is still consolidating. And similar things may just happen in the future.
Yeah, exactly. And I think diversifying cybersecurity is best so that these kind of things don't happen again. What do you think, Justinas?
Well, I think it was a reminder for all of us how dependent we are on a technology for our everyday lives. You mentioned, Neve, that CrowdStrike said this was not a cyber attack or security incident. I think the implications would have been much worse if it was. As you mentioned, there already have been a rise in phishing attacks related to CrowdStrike's outage, and several agencies both here in the UK and the US released statements following the outage and warned of an increased risk of related phishing attacks. The UK's National Cybersecurity Centre said that an increase in phishing referencing this outage has already been observed as opportunistic malicious actors seek to take advantage of the situation. And they said this may be aimed at both organizations and individuals. For its own part, the US Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency has also issued a warning and telling users to avoid clicking on phishing emails or suspicious links. It said that malicious actors were impersonating either CrowdStrike or presenting themselves as technicians capable of quickly fixing the problem in return for, of course, money, usually in cryptocurrencies. So I think I think people should be aware of that as well, that this was not a cyber attack, but the result could be a lot of phishing attacks and still lose people money.
Yeah, exactly. And well said. I think that this will, these effects are far-reaching and they will have an impact for a very long time. As Ernesta said, they're still consolidating. But yes, everybody was very shocked. And going back to what you said about the reliance on technology and seeing these blue screens of death everywhere and just kind of thinking, what am I meant to do now? But yeah, exactly. So it was pretty widespread, but hopefully everything will be back to normal and Kurtz will have to answer for himself. So yes, well, next up, we have the zLibrary research that our in-house security researchers did. Have you ever used pirated websites? Are we allowed to say that first
For
of all?
sure, no.
For sure,
never.
no. Bad question. Anyway, but many people have, and there's pirated websites for everything: films, music, ebooks, and at least 10 million people were believed to have accessed a pirated ebook website called zLibrary, which allows people to download ebooks. Instead, people were entering their credentials into a hoax zLibrary platform, which allowed scammers to steal users' data, I believe. They didn't just collect passwords and email addresses, which is bad enough as it is. They also collected crypto addresses and possibly payments. Ernestus, maybe you have some more information on the story?
Yeah, cybersecurity researchers from Cybernews found this exposed database with all the 10 million users' data.
Big.
And it's quite bad, yeah. We call it the biggest digital piracy leak ever because, well, to this day, this is kind of the largest number of exposed people who used illegal services. Well, maybe not in every country illegal, but considered illegal.
Yeah. Unethical.
And it's quite interesting that it's not even the original zLibrary website, but the copycat made by scammers. On zLibrary, well, it offered free ebooks without any registration or whatever, and the scammers kind of collect the data, requires payments for accessing ebooks. So
that's so interesting. If it's surely that's already a red flag. If it's a free ebook site and they're requesting payments for you to access them, that's already a big red flag, right?
Well, probably if you're going to use some illegal services, you're kind of not worried about those red flags anymore because
it's one big red
flag. The intention
itself
is kind of a red flag. What are you doing? Yeah. So anyway, but those people are now exposed not only to scammers, cyber criminals, but also authorities that may probably make their own researchers to what's happening there. So yeah, and also cyber criminals may obtain all the information about the crypto payments, so they can try to extort the money or whatnot.
Yeah, and I guess because it is kind of an unregulated environment, then, you're not going to get that money back if you're being extorted or whatever. But what does this mean for users of the supposed zLibrary platform? You mentioned that obviously it's not legal in many places, so don't use it. But what does this mean for users? Is it just that would they potentially be probed by law enforcement? Or is it more that law enforcement would look at the wider picture and try and... Because I understand that the real zLibrary platform is trying to be shut down and blocked and all that kind of stuff. So
probably I would not expect the police just coming down to your door and arresting someone just because they found your email in some leak. Well, if there are some cases where they are investigating something, some crypto wallets that are suspicious and maybe made some payments elsewhere, so they can match the data with other leaks, cyber criminals too, of course. So that can lead to many implications. And the cybersecurity researchers suggest that you protect your funds, you change your passwords, you stop using those crypto wallets that are exposed, and stop using illegal services whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a pirated website I understand that people use piracy websites to get things for free. And to bypass, is that what people use them for, or?
Well, you expect that the zLibrary kind of offered free ebooks, and then it still does, but it's not the most popular services that carries this name anymore because the scammers kind of took the top results in Google search results. And they even attract millions of visitors per month. So the analytic platforms reveal that one domain even gets more than 10 million visitors per month.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow, bloody hell.
So yeah, and those scammers not only ask to pay for ebooks, they later send you malicious links, spam to your email.
Oh, Jesus. So you just get all of it, basically. What were you saying, Justinas?
Oh, no, I was just noting that probably a lot of people that whose data was exposed in that leak may be based, in all kinds of different jurisdictions, and not, everyone will be probably affected by that. And there's obviously different motivations why people go to these pirated websites. Obviously, some think that they may save money. Others, though, may be looking for content that is not available in their country, at that point. So definitely going to be different implications for different users. But, obviously governments, especially where, torrent websites and, pirated websites are banned, they're urging people to think, to take a broader look when it comes to this, because you have to remember when you're buying fake products, whether physical products or online products, you may be helping fund organized crime. Usually, you're helping fund organized crime, and these crime gangs can make millions of dollars through selling these fake goods. And I was just scrolling through some government websites that of agencies that are dealing with this sort of crime, and just a few examples where your hard-earned money could go, which includes and is not limited to child sexual exploitation, drug dealing and trafficking, human trafficking, extortion, illegal weapons, as well as something that are called tiger kidnaps, which is an abduction of a hostage to force a ransom payment. And obviously, fake goods could even be dangerous. For example, fake perfume may contain, dangerous poisonous chemicals, cause allergic reactions, and so on and so on. When it comes specifically to online privacy, the risks may not appear as high, but as we mentioned repeatedly, it is illegal in many countries, and you should be aware that you risk being charged with theft, fraud, breach of contract, breach of copyright in a lot of jurisdictions. So definitely, something to think about.
Yeah, definitely. And so we've kind of called this the largest or the latest attack on piracy sites since 2007, I believe.
It's not the latest. There were more takedowns of these pirated sites, but we consider it the largest because the actual the data of users was leaked online. So there were other cases like Mega Upload in 2012. It had maybe over 180 million users, but it was taken down by authorities, and the data was kind of, I'm not sure where it went, or was it exposed at all. So it's unclear. But yeah, in this case, those users are not affected. Not only their privacy is affected, but also their financial safety, because their transactions were also revealed.
So I'm wondering, because the attack that I was referring to was the 2007 one on Pirate Bay, which is one of the largest piracy websites, I think, that's been going for a very long time. I was wondering, why do you guys think that threat actors exploit piracy sites like these?
Well, for profit, probably.
Yeah, but I guess what I mean is, is it because they are illegal in certain jurisdictions, so it's kind of...
I think definitely there's a vulnerability factor. They know that people who are using these websites, they know they're doing something illegal. So obviously, they expect them to be quiet about it. So definitely, users of these pirated websites are more vulnerable and more exposed, so which makes them an easier target.
And when we're talking about the books, especially academia papers and researchers, it may be very costly to access those papers for someone like a student in some third world country, because those subscriptions can be very expensive. And then some website comes here and say, look, I have the book you need for free or for a kind of very small fee. So that's the motivation for users to come there, put their data, and try to access that.
Yeah, it's interesting actually, because I was wondering why people would use these kinds of websites, and it does kind of make sense why they exist. But should people stop using them? I think that's probably a given, right? Considering that threat actors exploit these kinds of websites and things like that. So what can users do to avoid falling into this kind of trap?
Well,
Just not use them, maybe.
They can be
That's the
smart
easiest
about it.
solution for sure.
Yeah, that's the quick fire way of
I will just say that some users will not be affected as much because they did not enter their real names. They kind of put all the fake data there, and I'm not sure, probably they used some wallets that are not used for everyday activities, just for one case.
So, but there's a few, right, that have used their real names.
But yes, some were not that smart.
Don't be stupid like that, because that is not ideal. What could users do if they had used their real names and real credentials and were affected by this?
Well, there is not much that you can do. If you can, you change your email, because probably it will be filled with spam soon. Do not use those crypto wallets anymore, because everyone can track the transactions and know that it's you who made them. Also, probably you should block, even if you need to use that email, you should block or move to spam folder all those emails you get from
malicious emails. Yeah.
So it's just basic cybersecurity hygiene that you can do.
Which I feel like people neglect sometimes, but
And change your passwords and use multi-factor authentication.
Yes, all that good stuff. Okay, fantastic. So, Elon Musk. Again, we've got another Elon Musk story.
Yay.
Woohoo!
Yes.
We've talked about robots extensively on the podcast. From robots growing skin to Elon Musk's flying robotic Iron Man suit that we covered last week. But now Musk and his company Tesla are going bigger. I don't know how they could go bigger, but they have. They've just one-upped themselves. Elon Musk has said that useful humanoid robots will begin working internally at Tesla factories by 2025. Justinas, maybe you have some more information on this, on these grand plans?
For sure. I mean, another week, another Musk promise, right? So this time he also made one on X, his social media platform, where he said Tesla will have genuinely useful humanoid robots in low production for Tesla internal use next year, and hopefully high production for other companies in 2026.
Wow.
So he was making this statement in response to a post outlining former OpenAI researcher Daniel Coco-Taylor's short-term forecast for AI development, which foresees the full emergence of humanoid robots by 2029. So Musk was sort of responding to that and was correcting that timeline. But of course, he said that this would be a low production for Tesla's internal use next year, and maybe high production for other companies the following year. So I think that's a key part of that message. And I wouldn't say he is too off the mark here, as the humanoid robot market is getting really busy. There are multiple companies working on making it a reality in the next several years. And of course, we are talking about Tesla's Optimus bot. Just a reminder, its first iteration in 2021 was a man in a suit. But, earlier this year, it was already shown folding shirts, not the man, but, the robot.
With the help of a man.
A sort of, I'm not sure about that, actually. Let me, go double check on that. But, if it was folding shirts autonomously, and there are other robots, that did that, not just Tesla's bot, but it is a sort of a benchmark of robot capabilities because the task is very complex for a machine. So the development and research in this field is definitely picking up pace. And I think we're just seeing that, the rivalry is also heating up.
Yeah. And you said low end and high end, right? What does that mean, really? Like that we will have robots with low capabilities and some with high capabilities, or?
What Elon Musk said, he said that he's planning, low production for Tesla's internal use, low production of, Optimus bots for Tesla's internal use next year, and then maybe a wider production that they could sell to other companies, 2 years from now.
Okay,
But
I see.
yeah.
We've heard whispers from Tesla, and Elon Musk is not short of declaring things that never come to fruition or end up being delayed for ages. Do we think that this is actually going to happen next year, or is it just another marketing stunt from Mr. Musk?
Well, I'll just note that, the post came a day before Tesla was due to announce its latest financial results. And the company's shares went up by more than 5% on that day's trading session in New York. So you could say that he was, sort of trying to doing this for financial purposes or, public relations purposes. But you're right in saying that what Musk says is going to happen at a certain time does not necessarily mean that it will. You have Cybertruck. The concept of Cybertruck was first introduced in 2019, and Tesla planned to start the production in 2021, if I'm right, but it was delayed to 2023, and the first cars were only shipped in November last year. And even though it has, I think, 2 million reservations, it was, cars that were actually delivered are in their thousands. So there are different estimates because Tesla wouldn't share the official numbers, of course. But yeah, some of Musk's plans are quite aspirational. I won't even mention Mars.
To say the least.
I'm talking about those robots. Will you be able to buy one, to own one? Like what it could do for you?
I mean, I think it's going to be just like every other consumer product that you can actually buy for your, household use. But from what most companies I see are doing now, many are focusing on assembly lines in factories. So, factory work or car part assembling, that sort of thing. So it's definitely going to, when they talk about commercial use and mass production, I think they first and foremost, they have in mind, manufacturing and industry, not really household robots, but I'm sure it's coming as well. Maybe a bit later, maybe at some point. I don't know their plans.
But then again, industrial robots is nothing new. It's just basically the humanoid form that they offer that's different.
Exactly.
So just slapping a face on the machine that's...
And slapping a higher price tag.
So excited about that, but robots have been in use for years in factories, and it didn't cause any big, huge upheaval. So I guess we're gonna see. Definitely, there are a lot of uses, for super intelligent, autonomous humanoid robots.
I think the reason also why it's gotten so much hype is because, they are humanoid, and it's kind of bringing to life our kind of sci-fi fantasies of having these domestic robots that can do our chores for us. But Optimus has been priced anywhere between 20,000 to 30,000. So, I mean, we're not going to see them in homes anytime soon. But
would you buy a car or rather this robot? Why not?
Oh God, if I had the money, I'd buy a Cybertruck because, I just want to test it out, see what it could do. But
and also it optimizes stuff. Imagine you have a robot like you're Elon Musk, you want to optimize all the work you do. So you need someone to trust that could boast on Twitter while you actually are doing the other work.
Oh my God, yeah, that's pretty... Well, they make sense for Elon, like the amount of shit posts he writes on X. So, he needs a dedicated humanoid robot for that. But I mean, I was wondering also, you mentioned a really interesting point earlier that maybe you can elaborate on, but I was wondering if companies would have the funds what kind of companies would have the funds to employ these kind of humanoid robots, because you said it wasn't that expensive, right?
Well, 20, 30,000 is like few months of salaries. Just if you need to replace a worker, just pay for a robot that can work like for years for a single payment. That would be great for companies like any factories. So why?
Also, you should bear in mind that the basic economic fact that if something is mass produced, it gets cheaper. The wider the adoption, the lower the price, probably, depending on the quality of the product. But we've seen that happening with a lot of technology, smartphones. You can get a really cheap smartphone as well as a relatively more expensive one. And I think that the same will be true with humanoid robots. Some experts, analysts, observers of this field say that they're going to be dirt cheap. I think we should compare them more to like smartphones and our household technology rather than cars, because at least a lot of these companies that are working on it, they're envisioning hundreds of thousands of humanoid robots manufactured each year. I think it's going to be more of a smartphone thing than a larger purchase like a car, at least later on. Obviously, in the beginning, it's going to be a big and expensive toy.
Yeah, and probably, the robots will not unionize, will not require social benefits. You don't need to pay salary, and it works 24/7. But then again, industries had robots for decades now, and I just don't see anything new here. Just a humanoid form that you need delivered.
Yeah.
It's not delivered yet.
And I mean, I was watching the interview with Elon Musk conducted by Jordan Peterson, who's a very controversial figure, but whatever, it was enjoyable. And Elon Musk basically said that we already have robots working for us, that he sees that Tesla is an artificial intelligence company and that Tesla vehicles, Cybertrucks, are just robots on wheels.
Well, Roomba is robot on wheels.
Yeah, it's true. So we already have these robots working for us, but I guess the hype is, as we've said, around something that we can kind of relate to ourselves and hopefully will gain some level of intelligence and sentience so that we can communicate with it like in, various sci-fi flicks that we've all seen.
Yeah, interestingly, I think, there are a lot of reports and studies showing that the current wave of artificial intelligence is mostly affecting office jobs. Humanoid robots are probably going to affect manual labor, which is not as affected as the rest, as people working in the office, and in this stage of artificial intelligence adoption. But hopefully this will happen gradually and will not cause a huge upheaval. What Ernesta said, we had robots in factories for years, and it didn't cause any huge cataclysms or tragedies. People moved on to different jobs and different positions. But I guess we'll see. It really depends if you're a tech optimist or or if your outlook is more pessimistic and you just envision, human slavery.
Yeah, I mean, because we've seen the conversation, as you said, surrounding AI and job insecurity. We might see the same thing with robotics, but we're not yet sure. But you've said, Ernestus, that robots have been working in factories for years. So I don't know. I don't know where I stand on it, because I think if we're creating something that is like us, in a sense, surely it's there to replace us.
Well, I'm not afraid Optimus will replace me. ChatGPT will.
Yes, that's true. ChatGPT will. And
also, computers are also, a replacement of a human mind. It's or an improvement of human mind at some point in the future. So it really depends, I guess.
Yeah. And you said that there was something that you said earlier in regards to OpenAI, Justinas. And I'm thinking, was Elon Musk kind of saying this that robots are going to be employed maybe across industries by 2026 to overshadow OpenAI, perhaps? Because you said that one of the OpenAI people were talking about something, but I've forgotten it.
Oh, he's a former OpenAI researcher and an expert on, a futurist, you may say, who just are trying to, see what year some major improvements in this area are going to happen. So he mentioned artificial superintelligence, humanoid robots, and that sort of point. So he's a former OpenAI researcher. So I don't think Musk. It was just a viral tweet that Musk was responding to. But there are definitely some formidable rivals out there that Musk is and probably should be afraid of.
Yeah, certainly.
Not afraid of, maybe cautious of, and
some big players. Yeah. Would you have a humanoid robot, Ernestus, in your house?
Yeah, for sure. I would like that. It's kind of, if that can help you with all the, for cooking, for example, for cleaning, whatever. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
That's a nice future we could have.
I don't know, it scares me. I believe they get too intelligent and then bang, you're out.
Well, if you have a robot vacuum cleaner, are you afraid of it?
Sometimes.
Well, Neve will form anti-robot revolutionary guard and will just drive them away if that sort of thing happens.
Oh, thank God. Okay, wonderful. Right. Okay. Well, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in, and make sure to subscribe to the Cybernews channel if you enjoy our content, and like the video, leave a comment about what you liked and what you didn't like. And thank you guys for joining me. And by the way, it's our 50th episode, so yay.
Yay.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary to us, to many more, I hope. Thank you again, and we'll see you next time.